UFC 301 is here!
And there's a lot of money to be made. So let's get straight into my picks and analysis. First fight of the night is Alessandro Costa versus Kevin Borjas. Now, I believe Alessandro Costa is going to get it done. I think he's the better fighter. He's faced a better competition. He looked good against the title contender in Steven Erceg. He landed some really clean shots standing up. And Kevin, he's kind of unproven, losing to Joshua Van in his last fight. The pick for this one, I'm really confident in this one, is Alessandro Costa. Next up, we got Ishmael Bonfim fighting Vinc from Hell Pichel. And this one is a layup for Ishmael Bonfim. I know he's coming off a loss from Benoit Saint-Denis, but look at his performance against
Terrence McKinney.
What a knockout that was. He is set up to knock Vinc Pichel out in spectacular fashion to get his hype train back going. So yeah, give me Ishmael Bonfim to get it done. Next up, we got Dione Barbosa versus Ernesta. Ernesta. This one is a fade fight for me. I'm not going to be placing a bet, but I've seen Dione Barbosa fight, and her jiu-jitsu is very good. So I'm leaning more towards her for this one. Next up, we got Mauricio Ruffy versus Jamie Mullarkey. Now, Mauricio Ruffy, he is a debutant, and Jamie Mullarkey just sucks. I believe that Mauricio Ruffy is going to catch Jamie Mullarkey clean and put him out. Not only unconscious, but out of the UFC. Next up, we got Drakkar Klose versus Joaquim Silva. And I like Joaquim. He looked pretty good in his loss to Armin Tsarukyan. However, in his victory against Clay Guida, he really let me down. I'm fading this fight, but I think Drakkar Klose is going to get it done. Next up, we got John Silva versus William Gomis. Now, this fight can either be a snooze fest or pure dynamite. John Silva is going to come looking to take William's head clean off his shoulders, trying to finish the fight in shorter time than his walk-ins. His walk-in was like The Undertaker, took forever and no hype whatsoever in the walk-in. William Gomis is a very, very boring fighter. He's going to try to point fight all night, and he's going to frustrate John Silva. But the hope for an entertaining fight is for John Silva to take his head clean off his shoulders. And that's my pick for the day because I hate William Gomis' style. Next up, we got Elves Brenner versus Orolbai. And I'm not going to pronounce his first name. No. You're not going to catch me like that. Elves Brenner, he's a guy with a lot of dog in him. Great submission ability. Good stand-up. He fights in a similar fight style to Charles Bronx Oliveira. Same fight camp as well. Orolbai coming off a very impressive win against Uros Madik, and you see how good Madik is. You see how much power he carries in his hands. Look at the fight that he just had against Tim Means when I'm straying away from the point. I think Orolbai is going to be able to land some clean takedowns, get some control time. He's going to be going for a finish. Not so sure if he's going to get it, but the pick for sure is Orolbai to get it done. Next up, we got Karolina Kowalkiewicz versus Iasmin Lucindo. And Iasmin Lucindo, she is very, very young compared to Karolina Kowalkiewicz. However, Karolina is on a downward spiral out of the UFC. She is coming off a win, but her skill set is not the same as it used to be when she fought Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Lucindo is on a come up, and I think Lucindo is going to get this job done. Next up is Joanderson Brito versus Jack Shore, and I gotta go with Joanderson Brito. He has so many paths to victory. However, his cardio is a worry. I think he's going to get it done early and put Jack Shore out or submit him. Next up, we got Paul Craig versus Kyle Borralho. Now, this is a fight that you definitely should be fading because the odds and the value is way too low. But I think Kyle Borralho is going to get it done. Paul Craig has only got one way to victory, and that's submission unless you're Andre Moniz. I don't see Kyle Borralho managing to control Paul Craig on the ground that much, but I definitely see him wanting to stand there and trade. He's going to land some clean shots, and he's going to either squeak out a decision or win by knockout. Next up, we got Michel Pereira versus Ihor Porteria, and this one is an easy fight for Michel Pereira. They're building him up to be a really good 185er, giving him stylistic matchups that he will enjoy. He has a lot of power, even though he's coming up a weight class, finishing his last two fights in spectacular fashion, and I don't see this fight going any different. Next up, we got Anthony Lionheart Smith versus Vito Petrino. And Vito Petrino, again, this is a fade fight because the odds are not good. But Vito Petrino is really athletic. He has so much power in his hands, putting fighters out and controlling them on the ground as well. However, I don't want him to control Anthony Smith because he doesn't know what to do on the ground. He looks at his corner and asks for advice. He doesn't know how to apply a proper arm triangle. You know, Anthony Smith is going to eat him up if the fight goes to the ground. However, Anthony Smith's chin has been cracked a lot recently. Losing to Khalil Roundtree in that fashion, I can't trust you after that. And Vito Petrino has so much power. So give me Vito Petrino to win by knockout. Next up, we got Jonathan Martinez versus Jose Aldo. Now, this fight is such a tough one to predict because Jonathan Martinez's biggest strength might turn into his downfall for this one. Because Jose Aldo is really good at checking kicks, and Jonathan Martinez, he loves to throw them leg kicks and get finishes that way. I'm leaning more towards Jonathan Martinez because of his activity, but I can easily see Jose Aldo upsetting him in this one. The pick for me is Jonathan Martinez, but I'm not making that play. And finally, we got the main event of the evening, Alessandro Pantoja versus Steve Erceg. Steve Erceg has been fast-tracked to a title, but it's mainly because of the lack of competition from Pantoja's side. Pantoja is a very active champion, by the way, so fair play to him. I see Alessandro Pantoja getting it done against Steve Erceg. I think it's too much too soon for him, and Pantoja, I can't see him getting finished. He has a chin of steel and really good submission ability. I also can't see him getting pieced up for multiple rounds. Yeah, so I gotta go with Pantoja. He's gonna start off real heavy, and if the striking gets a little dicey, he's gonna try to take it to the ground and control it that way and win rounds. So I don't know how Steve Erceg is gonna get it done, and if he does, it's gonna be a really, really big upset in my opinion. So yeah, give me Alessandro Pantoja to get it done. And this has been my UFC 301 picks. Not too much analysis, more picks. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like. Comment what you think of the video down below. Subscribe. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Twitter. Support the channel on the Patreon. And I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, game time.